In this video, we're going to be unboxing, test flying. This is the A160-J3 Skylark. This is a budget-friendly, 3D capable RC airplane. It says it can do the acrobatic flight stuff, but we'll see. It looks pretty scale on the box. It's not very big. We're going to see just how this thing flies. And I'm looking at all this because I'm trying to figure out really a great way for people to get started in the RC airplanes. I started with the Aero Scout, and that thing has been absolutely awesome. The folks at the RC Sailors suggested that we start in that, and it's been a great ready-to-fly airplane. I have also jumped over to the E-Flight Ultimate 3D, which is definitely in a more advanced level up, and I have promptly just crashed it. I just promptly crashed it. Sometimes smaller planes are a little bit harder to fly. Is this one? How does this Skylark do? Let's get it out of the box, start getting it set up. Clearly some assembly required, but it looks like it's going to be fairly straightforward and easy instruction manual to follow along with, and we'll walk that together here, putting this thing together. We do have, of course, the landing wheels, the different control surfaces. We do have spare props, which is really nice because those tend to get damaged. We have a battery charger, and we need to go ahead and look at that. I am guessing we have down here, we have a battery that slides in here on the bottom. Make sure we pull and get the right piece out. So we have little 2S LiPo 600 milliamp. This is a 2S, it looks like, LiPo. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing charging so that it's ready for us to fly. And then we're also going to need, on the back of the controller itself, 4 AA batteries. First step of the installation is this rear tail fin. It says it's supposed to just slide in here beautifully, but it is a little tight. Let's see here. So we need to get this piece down and in there first. Lined up. It's got some different pins and everything to get it lined up. And then it says there's a screw that goes in both of these spots. There are actually multiple screws of different lengths in the kit, and it gives you no information whatsoever about which ones are the right ones to go in here. So I'm actually not going to put any of them in there yet. I'm going to start assembling the rest of the plane and see if I can figure out. There's small, medium, large, lots of different head styles. Some of them look like they're self-tapping, and so far there's zero information about where they go. So we're going to see through the rest of the instructions what that looks like. For the wings, we're going to make sure that this support is down and that the wires are also down and out of the way. We're going to then slide the 2 wing halves together. We can then connect these wires in here. I don't know if it matters which side is which. It doesn't give any indication that they're sided, so we're just going for it. The wing then snaps in the front here, and then we have these 2 little yellow quarter turn locks. So this is a very tight kind of force fit in here. Very, very tough. I found that getting a pair of pliers in here on this nut and looking at it, you can actually see through the windows, thankfully. The alignment to everything, actually being able to see through it this way with a pair of pliers on the other side, really helped to get that in there right. As we then flip the plane over, we then have these little supports that go in here underneath the wing. They just sit in there kind of as a force fit. And then this end comes in right here next to the battery compartment. And it does look like it wants to flex just slightly to get that in there. I'm going to use a box to help hold this up off the ground just a little bit. The wheels are then going to go on, and there's only one direction that they can go. You see this spring-loaded, this kind of piece of spring steel here that helps with the wheels and their flexibility. I love that they put these springs in here. I have one that looks like it's about to come out, so we're going to make sure that's in there good. But yeah, look at this flexibility so that when you land, it doesn't break anything. That's really smart. I really like that design. So these tabs go in here right beside the battery compartment. And then these pieces here overlap with the wing struts coming in, and a screw is going to go down through all of it. Included in the kit is 4 long screws, 4 short screws that look like they might be self-tapping, and 2 kind of medium, more machine thread looking screws here. Again, no guidance as to where any of these go, and so far I've only found the need for 4 screws, period. So I'm going to use these 4 longest because they look coarse, and why not use the longer ones in the 1, 2, 3, 4 spots that so far it says. Note that at this time these rear flaps are actually not connected, and I'm going to go ahead and fire the airplane up because we do have 3 different choices of where we can connect them on either end. And I will kind of want to make sure what the total throw is of that servo before I hook it up. Try to make sure that it's centered because you can screw or unscrew these ends a little bit to make sure that it's centered. But in order to do so, I need to have the servos powered up. And so I need to have the vehicle on first. In the instructions to power up the vehicle, it actually does say to leave the controller off at first, put the battery in, and plug this in first, which is the opposite of what you would normally do with any other RCs. Typically you want this on to make sure that there's no stray signals. So this will be fun. Let's see what happens. This is all part of the gyro initialization sequence though. So it's now on, and it says it wants it level. So again, you may want a box or something similar in order to try to keep the plane somewhat level as you then turn the controller on. Now with everything centered, it should have the gyros active. Okay, so we can make the plane roll. I don't like the kind of the latency that we have here. That's interesting. Now here, I got this servo moving. That's good. So it's now centered. Same thing with the other servo. I can hear it moving. And then, ooh, there's no arm button. It's just immediately armed. I have power, so that is a good thing to watch. Now with everything fired up, I'm going to connect these rear servos to their linkage and watch how far they travel and see if I need to adjust anything. I don't want to overexert any force on the linkage or the servo and burn them up. With all these linkages set up in the neutral position, the surfaces all look very straight, and we can wiggle them, but I'll be honest, these rear servos are really weak. It makes me very nervous. Like, I can get a little bit of movement there, but then it seems like they stick. That is not... I'm a little nervous about that. I see the linkage moving and flexing over here. I see the control surfaces moving, but they're really slow. A little nervous about what that's going to mean in the air. Wow, there we go. So this makes a little bit of sense. If you look down here in the lower corner, it has L up here in this little corner. And as you use the control surfaces, they don't move a whole lot. One press up here turns it to H. And now our surfaces move more. So that is also a good thing you can use in the L mode. You can actually, kind of numb your inputs a little bit, which could be good if you're a beginner. Does give you a little bit of trouble in case you're in, like if you're in trouble and you need an evasive maneuver, getting a little bit less of it out of there. If I click the button up over here in the top, then everything starts flashing, and in theory it turns the gyros off. So now this is more the acrobatic function. Hit it again, everything stops flashing, gyros back on. So I think now, only thing left, I'm going to take that battery back out and I'm going to recharge it back up to peak, and we're going to go try to fly it. All right, we ready?
Oh my.
Oh, we made it, we're in the air, so it does fly. I have it in the more high dynamic mode, still in the 6D that it comes in to start with. I'm going to circle back and come back towards us. Yeah, the fly's pretty good. Whoa. Alright, so it is very lightweight plane. So any little bit of wind is getting it for sure. It is feeling the wind. I'm going to circle right.
Oh, can't catch it on screen.
There we go. Yep, with the wind it goes a lot faster. Woo! The control, it's very odd feeling. I'm gonna put it into the low mode and just see what happens there. Gonna come down a little bit.
I can't find it.
Ooh! Turning right. Trying to turn right, trying to turn right. All right, so when you put it in the low mode, it's very numb, I'm gonna say. Very easy to fly for the price point. It's so hard to beat for the price point. I've got the 6D on. We're gonna turn left.
Oh, all of a sudden.
There you go. I'm gonna make a loop. We're gonna make a loop.
Oh
Or a
gosh.
circle. Not like a loop, just a circle. Slow, steady circle. So in the low dynamic mode, that's literally that was full stick left.
Yeah.
That's as dynamic as it would get. Hey, it flies pretty good actually. Nice and easy. I'm gonna go back around and I'm gonna try to come in for a landing.
Now it's gonna end well.
I'm gonna come in for a landing towards us. Thanks for the vote of confidence there, James. I appreciate that. Alright. Trying to come in, cutting power. Woo, coming into the wind. It's bouncing.
Coming in.
Hey! Almost landed too quickly.
Oh,
It's flying into the wind even a little bit here. Acrobatic move.
I hit it.
Alright, go. And it shows that it's been recording now for 15 seconds. Alright, taking off. So trying to take off without a rear wheel didn't work. So we're clearly gonna have to figure that out. But for now, we're just gonna throw it.
like a
We've done it before, yeah. You hold it back there, and then I'm gonna hit the power. We're gonna say 3, 2, 1, and you're gonna throw me, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna try this from a higher altitude. How about that? I'm gonna try to throw it myself. This is a horrible idea. All right. Let me try. I'm really glad that didn't hit you. So now we don't have any propeller. We're back from the test flight and crash, and yes, I've already got it all bolted back together already. So it came with a spare prop and spare nose cone in the box. So I just bolted that back on together. I've kind of bodged up the rear wheel here so that it'll actually work again, but we do appear to be missing some pieces from it. So we do need to get back out and test it again. I'm not sure why at the end of the day we could not get this thing to take off from a hand throw. It should have done that, but yet we tried multiple times and it was just really taking a hard dive every time we did it, no matter what the sticks did. And I had a revelation once we got back here to the garage, as where it typically does happen. These little supports here on each side, they had come out. And so I'm wondering, one side was kind of like shoved in, the other side was not, and I was wondering if it was letting that side kind of collapse in and not get the lift that it really needed. So maybe that was the key, maybe that was what was going on there. First flight was really nice. It was a little bit windier, and this thing's so lightweight that the wind really caught it more than I expected. but it handled it well, and it was flyable. The control surfaces and the control of the airplane are not the best that you will find. There's definitely some lag in it. It's like the servo's slow, or it sticks a little bit. There were times in which I thought I was straightening up and leveling, and it just kept going. So if you are flying it, it needs to be in a very big place without any obstructions around, so that you can avoid those kind of situations. When we looked at it ahead of time, I said I thought that this front landing gear suspension was really, really smart. What we did see with it was that it came apart a lot. Every time you landed, basically one of these little springs would come loose, which is probably why they included spares in the box. By the time we were all said and done crashing a couple times, the whole front end had come loose and needed to be all reassembled, but it all reassembled fine. It's not actually broken. It just needed to be all popped back into place. I think it'll be fun. I don't expect that at the end of the day this is probably going to be a very durable, long-lasting plane. The servos do appear to be struggling. It has good power, has good takeoff. Control is mediocre, it's okay. I think this is a very cheap way to get your kind of teeth into RC airplanes a little bit and see if you think you would like it. But you know, I've also tested some other really cheap little small RC airplanes that honestly at the end of the day flew better than this and actually were more durable. And if you have any questions for me about what I did or how I did it, leave them down in the video comments and I'll be happy to answer. Thank you and goodbye.